What is up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of the Hit It Deadnuts Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Stonehocker, and if you're listening to this, you're likely just like me and you live for those crisp mornings, the smell of the timber, and that split second where everything goes quiet before you release or pull the trigger. This podcast is part of the Praying and Slaying Podcast Network, and it's brought to you by Deadnuts Outdoors, and we're here for one reason: to help you become a more competent, skilled, and successful hunter by focusing on what actually matters behind the bow or the gun, in those moments of truth right before you make that shot of a lifetime. So who is Deadnuts Outdoors? For those of you who might be new to the family, Deadnuts Outdoors wasn't started in a boardroom or some general concept of a general target company. It was started by a real life hunter who had boys coming up into the hunting world, and he wanted them to be able to practice on the most realistic hunting scenarios you possibly could for elk, bear. They're out of the Pacific Northwest, out of Washington State, and the animals that they hunt and chase up there, man, you definitely need to be making sure you're putting in a good shot in some really tough conditions. And so Corey developed the first line of Deadnuts 2D targets, and they are life-size 2D animals that you get to fold up and set up and put on any backstop. And they work with a gun or a bow. They have replaceable vital sections. And at the end of the day, you're shooting at a real-life animal, and their slogan is "hit the spot, not the dot." That's because on these targets, you are truly just like you would in the field. As we get brought up as hunters, you're picking hairs and I mean, ultra HD images on these things. They are pictures of real life animals, and you're literally able to pick a shadow or a hair or a very specific spot on these animals to make that shot of a lifetime. And all the vital zones are set up in the exact spot, whether the animal's quartering away, quartering to in some cases, broadside, obviously. To be able to put that shot where it actually needs to be, not just aiming at a foam block with a spray painted circle on it, or like a tournament archery spot on a 3D target maybe, and then the 3D targets obviously kind of have their own not super realism aspects to them as well. At the end of the day, again, just the most real target you can possibly be shooting at, and he built these things for his kids who are now up and coming and awesome elk hunters. And they've, of course, have a lot of success to their name because of this practice that Corey was able to put out there. All right, man. So what's this show going to be? We're about keeping everything super raw and useful. We're a bunch of real guys and gals who are just passionate about hunting and making people better hunters. And this show and the company itself is about creating a community of skilled and successful hunters and outdoorsmen. And that's what we're going to be doing, man. So we're going to be diving into all kinds of things, bringing guests on who may be experts in a particular style of hunting. Maybe it's elk hunting, pronghorn hunting, black bear hunting, you name it. Maybe it's definitely going to include a ton of stories from the field. Part of the Praying and Slaying Podcast Network, our goal is to create the biggest collection of hunting stories ever told. And so, of course, we're going to have lots of hunting stories included in this podcast as well. We're going to get to know the team behind the company, kind of what everybody does, what makes them unique. Obviously, he'll hear stories from them. The field apps team over here at Deadnuts, get a lot of guys included there. And, of course, we're going to deep dive on the species specifically. We're going to make sure that each target we make, that we make a target for almost every big game animal in America. And if we haven't made it yet, it will be coming. But whether it's a moose, an elk, a black bear, a grizzly bear, a wild boar, a turkey, you name it, man, we're going to be making sure that we deep dive on those species specifically, what makes the anatomy of those animals tick and what makes the ticker stop ticking if you put your shot in the right place. Our targets do also incorporate quiver technology. And if you haven't heard of quiver, it is a really cool tool that basically turns your cell phone into a 3D X-ray scanner at the end of the day, where you can scan your 2D target and it shows you the internal 3D anatomy and exactly what happens when you put your arrow or your bullet where you put it. And they've got a lot of cool features. So I'm sure we'll have those guys on to share about what they do and just talk about some of the success people have had utilizing the 2D targets and utilizing quiver as well to just analyze and determine how they can best place a shot on an animal and how it results. We are all about supporting the conservation world. We got a lot of really cool things going on over here. That's actually my baby at the company. So I'll be talking about that and the programs we do to support conservation. We'll definitely be bringing some conservation guests on, of course, to share hunting stories, talk about what they do. So you can kind of get to know who our partners are in the conservation space and what they're doing with the dollars that we help raise, or that obviously through you guys help raise. To support those missions and where those boots on the ground dollars go to. That's going to be fun to learn about. But yeah, man, this thing is all about, again, building, expanding on Corey's vision of building a more competent, more successful community of hunters through the most realistic practice that you could possibly have. And in today's day and age, there isn't a Dead Nuts fills a niche that wasn't currently filled between foam blocks and dots and the 3D world. And we are Dead Nuts 2D targets. This is the Hit It Deadnuts podcast, man. And we are looking forward to building community with you and having you guys join our community. And we know we've actually got a lot of customers out there who are using the targets. We get success stories all the time. Guys and gals are sending us photos and videos of their hunt and how a specific Dead Nuts target helped them prepare for that shot that actually translated into the field. So if you have those stories, get a hold of us, info@deadnutsoutdoors.com. Send us your story there. I believe on the website we have a spot where you can share your success story with us as well. So yeah, send it over. We'd love to have you on the podcast. Of course, we're going to have customers and testimonials on here as well. I'm looking forward to that. With that, guys, we are just getting started, and we can't wait to launch more episodes coming up here in the very near future with the full feature episodes with all these different things we've talked about today. And we are so thankful that you're here. So please give the show a thumbs up, a like, or subscribe. Go check out deadnutsoutdoors.com. Check out all the 2D targets, all the awesome species we have there, the new conservation series that directly supports conservation organizations. And of course, everywhere on social media, Dead Nuts Outdoors is where we're at, baby. So go check it out. We can't wait to continue building community with you and be, helping you become a better hunter. And of course, hit the spot, not the dot. We're here to help you hit it, Dead Nuts.